Hey, what's up, everybody? How you guys doing out there? My name is Gary St. John. Welcome to another episode of Gary's Viewpoint, where I'm here to express myself and give my sports takes and viewpoints. Thank you again for joining me. We're going to talk about the New York Knicks today. The New York Knicks won the 2026 championship. Congratulations, New York. You guys deserve it. It's been a long time coming. 53 years to be exact. So you guys deserve it. Congratulations. It was a hard-fought series against the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs basically couldn't really handle the Knicks the way everybody in the media thought they would, including myself. So I'll say that I was wrong. I thought it was going to be a 7-game series, but the New York Knicks proved me wrong, and they proved a lot of other people wrong, and they came out victorious in Game 5. So let's dig into it. Let's dig into the whole series, actually. The series started off with both teams being physical, Wemby wanting to take over the game, but Karl Anthony Towns wasn't having any of that, basically. He was very physical with Wemby, was able to put a body on him, make it tough on him, and forced him to play defense and not really laying back, waiting for something to come his way on a defensive end. He wasn't able to basically block shots or get his way defensively because he had to guard somebody. So Karl Anthony Towns was going at him early and making it tough on him. I feel like the Spurs didn't really have any adjustment for how they wanted Victor Wembanyama to attack on the offensive end. On the defensive end, he held his own because he was able to do some damage, block some shots, get out there, contest shots and all that stuff. But on the offensive end, he wasn't able to get his way and basically be effective the way he should have been effective throughout the whole series, right? So I want to congratulate Mike Brown and Karl Anthony Towns for the work that they did on Wemby, for basically making it tough on him on the defensive end and the offensive end. He couldn't basically get to his spots on the floor and being able to do damage like he did against the OKC Thunder. I knew this was going to be a different task for Wemby because of the matchup against Karl Anthony Towns. I said it earlier in the earlier episode that you had to make it tough on him. You had to force him to guard somebody, and you had to take him away from the basket, stretch the floor. Karl Anthony Towns is able to do that because of his 3-point shot making. He was able to stretch the floor and keep Wemby away from the basket on the defensive end, and basically they were able to put him in the pick and roll at times, which basically helped a lot because they were able to free up some shots at the rim. So kudos to Mike Brown for making certain adjustments on how to guard Wembanyama and not allowing him to be so effective on the offensive end. I said it before, the NBA Finals is a different story. It's a different story. It's about adjustments. It's about decision making. It's about toughness. It's about shot making. And we saw that coming from the Knicks side, where whenever they were down big leads, they never basically panicked, right? They stayed true to who they are, and they just kept working and kept working. Of course, the Spurs made it tough on them. They got out to certain leads early, played very good defensively. Basically, they were past like the whole series against Jalen Brunson, making him work hard for every shot. Brunson was having a tough time earlier on in the series. He wasn't basically getting the shots that he normally able to get because of the defense, because Stephen Castle and Dylan Harper were basically all over him, not allowing him to get to his spot. But Jalen was still able to make some tough shots. He was able to take over the game down the stretch. And that's what really mattered, right? It didn't matter how big of a lead that the Spurs had, the Knicks were able to counter that by coming back and basically being aggressive and kept attacking the basket, kept spreading the floor, and they made tough shots. You got to give them credit for that. Basically, the Knicks felt like this was their time. They felt like they were the better team, even though they were down a lot in the series. The Spurs basically took control of most of the games early on, but the Knicks never wavered. They kept fighting back. That's a recipe for championship. That's a recipe for a veteran team that knows what it takes to win basketball games down the stretch, right? So the Spurs are a young team. They've basically never been there before. Not in the playoffs, not in this type of atmosphere at Madison Square Garden against the New York Knicks, right? So they basically showed how inexperienced they were when it came down to crunch time. They made key mistakes down the stretch over and over, which cost them a lot of the games like they were supposed to win. Let's keep it 100. Like, they were supposed to win some of the games that they lost. Key mistakes here and there, not hitting free throws, not boxing out on rebounds, turnovers, certain aspects of the game they were able to hit shots, but when it came down to it, they weren't able to knock down certain shots. And in my opinion, I felt like they rely on the three-point shot way too often. They should have kept attacking the basket and being aggressive and not run away from what basically got them the lead, right? They got the lead, they felt comfortable, and most of the times during an NBA game, you get these big leads and you start getting comfortable. You become lackadaisical on defense and not hitting shots. You rely too much on the outside shots and not attacking, not putting pressure on the defense by attacking the basket. Then you get yourself in trouble, right? So you gotta be accustomed to being in attack mode for 48 minutes, no matter what the score is, right? No matter what the score is, you have to basically keep attacking, keep being aggressive, keep putting pressure on the defense, keep putting pressure on the referees to make a call, slow the game down. Like they were able to do that one of the games in the series. I forgot which game it was. I think it was game 3. They were able to slow the game down in the second half, not allowing the Knicks to get out on the open and get easy buckets. They slowed the game down. They made it a half-court basketball, which they were able to be effective in getting to the spots and getting to the free throw line and making their shots. But when you run away from what got you the lead and you start feeling the pressure, and then you start hurrying up shots and taking bad shots and turning the basketball over, 9 out of 10 times you are going to lose these games, right? So you gotta limit the mistakes, especially during crunch time. And the Spurs weren't able to do that. They weren't able to do that throughout the whole series, except for the game 3, which they won. So I want to say the Knicks that did a great job of coming back, no matter what the score was. They kept believing in themselves. They kept attacking, pushing the ball, getting to the spots, hitting shots, basically forcing the referees to make certain calls, which the refs were pretty bad during the finals. They basically made some bad calls or some no calls, which I thought they should have called certain fouls, and they didn't call certain fouls. Yeah, the referees gotta be better than that. You gotta be better than that at that stage in the NBA Finals. So the refs basically did not do a good job at all. But the Knicks never wavered, no matter what the refs did, no matter what the Spurs did. They kept pushing the ball, kept hitting tough shots, getting to the basket, putting pressure on the Spurs, because they knew that, hey, if we keep attacking, we'll keep putting pressure on them. We'll get the score down, get it down. If they're up by 15, we'll get it down to 10, we'll get it down to 9, give ourselves a good chance in the end. And they were able to do a very good job of basically breaking it down to where they could feel comfortable from taking over. Once you know a double-digit lead basically is no longer a double-digit lead, it gets down to 9 points, 8 points, you know that the Knicks were able to come back. They were going to come back, actually. But it was a great finals. Congratulations to the New York Knicks. Congratulations to Mike Brown and his staff, Jalen Brunson. I want to say something about Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is like tough. He's really crafty around the basket. He gets to his spots. He's able to basically put a body on you and push you out the way and get to his spots and basically make tough shots on you. Basically, he doesn't really care who's guarding him. If he gets to his spot, he knows he could get a shot over you. He's going to get that shot over you, and 9 out of 10 times he's going to make it. I love his level of toughness. I like how he approached the game, how he basically never backed down, never wavered. He knew that this team was his team, and he was able to put the team on his back and basically carry them to a championship. Yeah, he struggled early, but all that mattered was when you needed a bucket at the end, he was there to give you that bucket. He was able to knock big shots down and give you a big lead, or give you a lead actually, and then from there take the game over. If the Knicks don't have Jalen Brunson as part of the team, I don't think they would have won a championship. So I want to congratulate Jalen Brunson for basically working so hard on his game, where he was able to take his game up to another level than what he did last year and then what he did the year before. So he kept getting better each year after year because he understood the assignment, right? The assignment is when you get to the NBA and you get to play at that level, you have to change certain aspects of your game. You have to get better each year and add different elements to your game where you could become a great player. We've seen LeBron do that. We've seen Michael Jordan do that. We've seen some of the greats able to do that. So Jalen Brunson is becoming a great player right before our eyes, right? No one expected him to be that type of player that he is right now. When he came to New York City, a lot of people questioned the move. I kind of questioned the move a little bit, but I knew Jalen has won basically wherever he was, from high school to college. And when he was with the Dallas Mavericks, he basically was playing very well. He was playing real good basketball. So with the right pieces around him, I knew they were going to be good. But did I think he was going to be that good? No. No one saw it coming. But the thing is that all you got to do is believe in yourself. I always say that. Believe in yourself, in your accomplishments, even when nobody else does. I'm going to say it again. Believe in yourself, in your accomplishments, even if nobody else does. So I believe that's what Jalen Brunson did. He believed in himself. He worked so hard to get to where he's at right now. And nobody was going to question him and question his work ethic, question how hard he worked, and question his ability to play the game of basketball. Yeah, we saw comments from certain people in the media saying that he's too small, he's not going to be able to win at that level. But they forget to mention that it's a team sport, right? And Jalen understands that. Even though he's able to take over games at times and be big, he understood that he wasn't going to win a championship by himself. Nobody wins a championship by themselves. Michael needed Scottie. Shaq needed Kobe. And Jalen Brunson needed Karl Anthony Towns. So it changed when Mike Brown basically realized, hey, we got to figure something out. We got to change our whole approach to how we come to the game from the offensive end. When he was able to put the ball in Karl Anthony Towns' hands and allowing him to play point forward, everything changed from that moment, right? It made life easier for everybody else on the floor. It made life easier for Karl Anthony Towns himself, for Jalen Brunson, for Mikal Bridges, for OG Anunoby. It made it easy for guys to come off the bench and feel comfortable shooting shots and not have to worry about giving the ball to Jalen Brunson and having him shoot it 25 times a game. That wasn't going to win you a championship. Let's keep it 100. No matter how good Jalen Brunson is, that style of basketball wasn't going to win you championships. So once again, kudos to Mike Brown. He did a hell of a job coaching this basketball team and basically putting guys in certain situations to be great. When it comes down to being a coach of a basketball team, you have to realize the pieces that you have on the floor. And you have to realize what's going to be effective at certain times, and what's not going to be effective, right? For me, coaching also, I try to tell my players, hey, you got to be able to go and get the ball, get to your spots, and make shots. My job is to put you in the best position to have you be effective. That way we can win basketball games. And from being able to coach these young kids and telling them certain things and boost their confidence up and allowing them to basically play freely, but also play effective. And that's what I think Mike Brown did with Karl Anthony Towns, by trusting him and putting the ball in his hands and allowing him to play freely, also effectively on both ends of the floor. You have to be able to trust your players. You have to be able to put them in positions to win and be great. This is not a one-man show. Everybody want to put it as a one-man show. It's not. It's a team sport. It's called a team sport for a reason. It's not tennis. You know what I mean? It's not tennis where you're out there by yourself. There's 5 guys on the court. So you got to be able to work it out. Putting guys on certain spots in certain positions to be effective. And I think that's what Mike Brown was able to do. And he did a great job at it. You got to give him credit. You got to give him credit. You got to give the Knicks credit. They had a hell of a playoff. They were able to beat certain teams that people didn't expect them to beat to get to the finals. And they got to the finals. We didn't expect them to beat the Spurs. And they did. They came out on top. They came out victorious. The Spurs, they got some work cut out for them. They got to get better next year. They're going to be better next year, actually. Certain things that they got to work on to get better. They got to make better decisions down the stretch with the basketball. De'Aaron Fox, you got to be better than that, bro. I believe you're a better player than that. You made certain mistakes down the stretch that you shouldn't have made. But it's not the end of the world. He had a tough series. He wasn't 100%. He was playing on a hobble ankle. You know what I mean? So with that, and then asking him to basically guard Jalen Brunson and put that much pressure on him, knowing that he's not 100% himself, it's a lot to take. But a lot of people out there clowning him, doing all that stuff, y'all need to stop. Y'all never played at this level. De'Aaron Fox is playing in the NBA. Some of you guys can't even dribble a basketball or even think about playing in the NBA. He made a mistake. He should have dribbled the ball back out and take some time off the clock, and the Spurs would have tied the series at 2. But he didn't. He made a mistake. You can't make that mistakes at that stretch of the game, but he made a mistake. It's a mistake. He didn't play well. He shot the ball poorly, which happens. But I believe that Mitch Johnson should have realized how De'Aaron Fox wasn't playing well. He should have put somebody else in the game. You can't allow your point guard to be out there and not being effective and then keep playing him that many minutes, right? He played 37 minutes in Game 5. He was 3 for 15. He scored 7 points. From that point, when you saw him struggling, you got to be able to bring somebody off the bench to give you a spark. Because you're trying to win a basketball game. You're going to talk to your point guard and you're going to let him know, hey, I need you out there, bro. I need you. But I'm going to try something different. I'm not giving up on you. You got to be able to talk to your players. You got to be able to have that communication with them. Let them know, hey, we need you out there. We need you out there. I'm going to give somebody else some minutes, and I'm going to get right back to you. But you got to be aggressive. You got to be able to talk to your players. You got to be able to, like, instill that confidence in them. I don't know if Mitch Johnson did that, right? I don't know if he did that. I don't know if he basically just left him out there because he's a veteran point guard. You can't do that. You got to be able to make certain adjustments and bring somebody that's going to bring a spark to the team, especially when you need to score points, right? Stephon Castle had a basically not so good game at all for Game 5. He struggled from the field. He was 1 of 10 from the field, 0 for 3 from the 3-point line. He basically gave you 6 points. You're not going to win that many basketball games with your starting backcourt is basically not playing well. You're not going to win that many basketball games. Your starting backcourt is 4 for 18 in Game 5 of the NBA Finals. So as a coach, you got to realize that. You got to realize that and be like, hey, they're not playing well tonight. We got to go with somebody else. You can't worry about nobody's feelings when you're trying to win the championship. We know they're great players. We know they've done great things to get you to this point. But you're trying to win a basketball game. You're not doing anybody any favors by leaving them out there struggling, knowing that they can't knock down shots. So I think Mitch Johnson, I know he hasn't had that many playoff experiences, but he's going to learn from that. He's going to realize that he has to make certain in-game adjustments. That's what a lot of coaches don't realize. They don't know how to do. They don't know how to make in-game adjustments, right? Yes, you could make halftime adjustments and look at your stats and look at certain things on the floor that you should do on the defensive end or offensive end. But within the game, while the game is going on, you have to be able to make in-game adjustments to put your team at an advantage, right? So I feel like he's failed to do that. Then again, it's not the end of the world. We're not asking for Mitch Johnson to get fired. I know there's some idiots out there that's gonna say some stuff and call for him to get fired, and let's pump the brakes. Let's pump the brakes. He didn't do a great job in the finals. It happens. We're not gonna fire anybody. That's what the Spurs should come out and say. The Spurs should come out and say, hey, we're not gonna fire anybody. We believe in this team. We believe that this team is gonna get us back here again next year. That's it. Put it to rest. You know? It happens, man. It happens to the best of us. So they're going to learn from it. They're going to get better, you know, and they'll bounce back. As for the Knicks, I hate to say it, man, but I feel like the Knicks could repeat next year. If they keep this core together, which already has the experience, they have the personnel to work with. If they keep the same team here for next season, they could repeat again. Because we don't know what's gonna happen with the Boston Celtics. We don't know what Jaylen Brown's gonna do. You know, if he's gonna stay with the Boston Celtics. You know, we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know what the Cavs are gonna do with James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. We don't know. We don't know what the Eastern Conference is gonna look like. But it's not looking great for the other teams. I know that. Knowing the Knicks did what they just did, it's not looking good for them. The Knicks are looking really good right now. They're looking like they could be back in the championship next year. And that says a lot. That says a lot for a team that's been through so much throughout the years, right? It says a lot that they could possibly be back in the finals next year. So I'm looking forward to it for next season again. I know it's too soon. The season just ended, but I'm a huge basketball fan. So, you know, we'll see what the summer brings with certain trades and certain pieces being moved around and stuff like that. So we're gonna pay close attention to it, and we're gonna talk about it right here on Gary's Viewpoint. So once again, congratulations to the New York Knicks for being the 2026 NBA champion. Once again, thank you for tuning in to Gary's Viewpoint. Thank you for listening. Don't forget, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I want you to support for more content. I want you to support this channel as I give you my sports takes and viewpoints. And never forget to express yourself. Thank you guys. I'm out.